Is it possible to be loyal and be two-faced?
Nedu, ask this question again, I don't understand.
Is it possible to be a loyal man to a woman?
Well,
and be
I've
two-faced?
said this a couple of places before. I got into trouble for it, but I didn't care about that.
Fuck it, say it.
Man, no fit. I don't know. I know fit, but I will talk for my own self. I don't go talk about. But man, no, they built to just sexually
Deal with one woman.
Man, a man is not built to be one
Heart
woman.
and love. If you give
If you calm down.
heart, love, respect, and say, "Oh, this person is my person." It fit, but sexually, it is impossible for man.
So what you're trying to say is that a man cannot be with one woman sexually.
Yes.
Jesus said a man cannot be
So
with
hold
But
on.
man, feel love
Mama, hold
woman
on.
completely like.
If you love
Are
woman,
hold on, I'm gonna ask you a question. So which means you're with my guy, Tasha. So which means you can fuck another person apart from Tasha.
See you are not the thing. That's why I like to look for trouble. I don't
So that's basically Two-Face making the claim that men are biologically and naturally wired not to be with one woman. And I've heard this claim a lot. And I actually think there is some, though very little, there is some validity to the claim, because obviously this is a claim that is premised on the idea that there is a biological, natural consequences to women sleeping around. That is not there for a lot of men, because when men sleep around, they cannot get pregnant. But when women sleep around, they can get pregnant. And because women can get pregnant and men cannot get pregnant, that is the reason why men should be able to go sleep around and women should not. So this is generally the nonsense that this argument is often premised on. And if you look at nature and look at everything that is considered natural, the truth is, just because something is natural doesn't necessarily make it right. And there are a couple of things in the society that we can all agree is natural, but are not necessarily right. I'll give you a couple of examples. Violence, for example. There are a lot of studies, there are a lot of research that have shown that men are much more predisposed to violence by nature. They are naturally much more violent than women. But we don't, because of that natural predisposition, encourage or glamorize men being violent when they are not supposed to. I mean, I'm fine with self-defense. I'm fine with when you want to protect your family, you want to protect people. That's fine. Violence is absolutely necessary in those situations. But statistically speaking, men are much more violent in situations where violence are not needed, which means by nature, men are much more violent. But we don't, because of that, accept it as a society, just because men have the nature to be more violent than women. We tell them to not be a slave to their natural predisposition. We teach them how to not use violence. And the few ones of them who use violence, we put them in jail for it. Even when we can acknowledge violence is natural to men. Another example I can give you is pedophilia, for example. Scientifically and medically speaking, psychologically speaking, pedophilia, for example, is not a sexual preference. It's not. I mean, there are a lot of brain scans that have been done on people who have pedophilia and all of that. And it has been determined that this is not just a lifestyle preference. This is not something these people can choose. This thing happens to them outside their own choosing, which means this is a natural proclivity for some men. Don't because of that say because they have the natural urge to be attractive to prepubescent children. Therefore, we should be able to accept it as a society. We don't do that. We look at them and say, you need to get a therapist, you need to get a psychologist, you need to check yourself into a psychiatrist hospital, and hopefully if you could get treated for that, you might be able to come back into the normal world. But if you don't, we are going to lock you up. That is how much we are happy to go against nature when it is not right. So if we can do all of these things, it shows that just because there's nature doesn't necessarily make it right.
I don't tell you what I talk.
I'm just saying.
I don't tell you what I talk. I will try my best. I will try my best.
You try your
to answer
best,
you.
but
I will try my best to answer you.
okay.
I don't talk with you. I talk.
Say
Any other
man
one
feel
you
love
look for
woman
now,
die.
na trouble you just look for.
Your trouble are different.
Exactly.
A guy, I know we find your trouble.
No, you don't
No,
understand am now. He
don't
say
look for
man
trouble.
feel love woman die, but sexually. What
Okay.
again want me to tell you now?
Which means you can respect the woman and give her everything.
Individual if decide not to
By
go
themselves.
that route. Individual.
Imagine the type of mental gymnastic that men normally subject themselves to the point they actually don't listen to themselves when they say the things they say. I mean, the claim being made by Nidu here is that a man can respect a woman and love a woman and go ahead to cheat on the woman. But even Nidu himself knows this is not true. And you know why I know this is not true? Because if the table was turned around, Nidu will never accept that as respect. Never. And if you don't accept it as respect, how the hell do you think anybody whose brain is better than that of a tapeworm is going to accept it as respect when you don't accept it as respect? And I get it. There are some retard who want to tell me men and women are different. Yes, it is true, men and women are different. But the difference in men and women don't all of a sudden change the definition of what a word is. The definition of a word remains the same, regardless if it is a man or a woman. It doesn't all of a sudden change.
No, but
Translate
I tell you
some
the biology
sentences
of
you are
man.
saying in
I
English
tell
and
I tell
Nigerian,
you the
and I'm
biology
getting
of man. I
confused.
know they see this thing I'm saying to you is
I will explain.
Please.
now
Calm down.
biology of man.
It's a biology, it's a
Yeah,
natural thing.
yeah.
It's nature.
And anybody who won't follow me argue, I'm fine. Feel
So,
free to go
Kefi, we
ahead.
have something
So you
to say.
think,
So in
no,
essence-
hold on. Are you trying to say that a man cannot be with one woman sexually?
No. What I tell you, see, man feel love woman, die. Everything at this woman. But when it comes to that sexual
satisfaction.
it take
And you see, let's even look at the social consequences of this behavior. I mean, you have STDs, you have STIs, you have AIDS, you have all of that you can easily transmit among all these several women you are meeting with. And a lot of people might say, oh, we just use protection. Well, protection can fail. It's not 100%. And secondly, funny enough, the type of men who make this kind of arguments is usually the kind of men who don't protect themselves. I mean, obviously, Two-Face himself has had 7 kids from 3 different women. And how degenerate do you think our society would be if you have men and women just running around wild and just sharing and exchanging body fluid just for the sake of it, because they can, because it's their nature? What would the society look like? And look at the impact on children. You see, almost every data out there have shown that kids that comes from 2-parent household normally have better outcome compared to kids that come from a single-parent household. There are plenty of data to support that. And if somebody like a Two-Face, for example, that has 3 women who have 7 kids for him, who is actually with a 4th woman, by definition, it means he can never be at home and present enough in the home in a way the children requires for healthy growth for the family. Because obviously you can't be in 4 places at the same time. He's with a different woman now. And there are 3 other women that have his kids. Which means he will never be able to be present in the lives of all of those kids. Which means the vast majority of his kids, if not all of them, are going to grow up with absentee father syndrome. In what way does that benefit the society? In what way? And another thing about the society that a lot of men do not understand is this. I've forgotten what is often called in psychology, where if you repeat an information over and over and over again, the people who listen to that information tend to tilt towards doing what that information is about. And you see, if men continue to do this thing and continue to repeat it, that women are hearing it, by nature, they are going to jump on that bandwagon and they are going to start doing it too. And we have already seen that there's already data that shows that women are actually catching up to men when it comes to cheating. I don't think they are on par yet, but women are actually moving at a faster speed than men are today. And we all know cheating is much more devastating to men than it is to women. Because normally, for a lot of women, it's kind of like part of the expectation. So they are psychologically ready for it. But a lot of men, it's a devastation. We've seen men who committed suicide just because the kids they thought that were their kids that they have raised and invested money in for 20 years. They now found out it's not their child because their wife cheated some 20 years ago. And yes, it's because the men laid down the example for the women to follow. So while a lot of men might celebrate this, they might clap their hands, it's actually not in their best interest because cheating is much, much, much more devastating for men than it is for women.
It's now biology of man.
Oh.
The seed too plenty. You don't fit drop up for anyone.
What of pastors?
Eh?
Nah,
Pastors.
they never
See,
catch
you don't
them.
make me don't talking.
They never catch them. Pastors, they never catch them.
But I want to believe that you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
It is what has gotten so many people in trouble. It's a simple fact. You need to accept them. You understand what I'm saying? Because so many heartache, unnecessary stress, unnecessary stuff will be avoided if we
The
understand
expectation
this
is
simple fact.
What is the simple fact?
And if you
I
accept
think
this simple,
a
it's
cappella needs to
unrealistic.
translate so I can understand that
What
the
is-
trade
It's not
of the
realistic.
conversation.
What my
It's
guy is
not a
trying to say.
realistic
They
thing.
do it.
These things they cause unnecessary heartache left, right, and center. We just have to understand and accept this fact. I swear to God, the world will be a very easier place to exist.
If I will explain. So, in essence, put in simple English, a man can love a woman, can be loyal to the woman, but may need to satisfy other women sexually.
This is the reason why I said men actually don't listen to what they say, because if they do, they will see that it makes no sense. How can you say a man can love a woman and a man can be loyal to a woman, and at the very next statement you say, but he can go and sleep with other women? How is that in the same sentence with loyalty? In what way is that compatible with loyalty? When loyalty simply means come hook or crook, you are with that person. That's what loyalty means. But the mental gymnastic men need to subject themselves to for this to make sense to themselves is to say things like, a man can love you and be loyal to you and still go sleep with other women. That's not loyalty. And again, you know why I know that's not loyalty? Because if the table was turned around and the woman says, I'm sleeping with 10 other men, but it is you I love, it is you I'm loyal to, they will not accept it as loyalty. And like I said, the genitalia of somebody who is making an argument doesn't determine the definition of words. There is a reason why words have meaning. It's so that people like this don't just wake up one day and make words mean what they want it to mean rather than what we all know that those words mean. So how can, in what planet does it make a logical sense to say, I'm loyal to you, but I'm going to share you with 10 other people? How on earth is that loyalty?
He has nothing to do. Yes,
He has nothing to do with whether he loves her or not. I need you to calm down. I don't know because I see that you're pumping.
No, for real.
So basically, that is the part of the clip I wanted to talk about. It's a very long clip. I will share the full clip in the comment section if you want to go and watch the full video. But basically, this actually shows and demonstrates something that I've always suspected, which is that men do not like and they do not love women. They just don't. Most men, women is just like a toolbox that they can use to achieve certain goals. And those goals can be sexual pleasure, a maid that will cook their food, a maid that will do their laundry, a maid that will keep them company. Outside of that, I don't think men really, really love women as an entity. I don't think so. And again, just throw another additional data in there. There is also a data that have shown that 21% of the time, women leaves when their partner falls sick. You know the percentage of the men that leaves when their partner falls sick? 624. 624% of the men leaves when their partner falls sick. Right? Because the woman is not useful to them anymore being on the bed. She can't have sex with them anymore. She can't cook their food anymore. She can't do their laundry anymore. She can't be the vessel that is going to carry their child anymore. So they feel no use. The woman is of no use to them. So the truth, I think men generally don't love women. Because you see, if you love somebody, you might not feel any guilt for the fact that you went out to do something, because to you as a man, what you went out to do doesn't really mean anything to you. I think it's understandable. I can entertain that argument. But the argument that is ridiculous is the fact that you claim to love somebody and you intentionally, out of your own will, out of your own choosing, choose to go and do something that you know 100% for sure will hurt them, will damage them, will stress them emotionally, and will cause them pain. And you turn around to say, but I love you. What kind of a useless love is that? I mean, like I said, I can grant you if you say the sex doesn't mean anything. But if you are somebody who do not feel any remorse for the fact that the sex you claim doesn't mean anything causes your partner pain and it causes them hurt and it emotionally stresses them, then you are not a human being who actually cares about the partner. Because if you care about the partner, the thought of your action causing them pain will make you choose not to do that action. And the fact that a lot of men go ahead with this action, knowing fully well it's going to cause the woman they claim to love pain, is exactly the reason why I think men generally do not love women. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The name should be somewhere on the video. And let me know in the comment section, as a man, do you think there's a valid argument to this, that you should be able to go sleep around even though you still love your woman? And as a woman, is this something you still tolerate in your relationship, that because he's a man, he should be able to go sleep around? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.